In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 mistakes that most people make after eating a meal that become the reason for problems like obesity, constipation, nutritional deficiencies, and can even cause chronic health issues. We will also discuss the simple ways to fix them. So without any further delay, let's get started. Hello friends, welcome to FitTuber. Often people focus on eating healthy, but then they make certain mistakes after eating a meal because of which they not only fail to get the benefits from the healthiest of foods, but also invite health problems. Starting with number 8, drinking water after meals. Do you often gulp a glass of water right after a meal? Avoid doing that. When we eat a meal, our body's temperature rises so as to digest the food. But if we drink water just after a meal, it naturally lowers the body temperature, reducing its digestive ability. When we drink water after a meal, the gastric juices get diluted. As a result, food doesn't get digested properly and rots within the system. And when food rots, not only it fails to digest the nutrients from it, but brings along digestive problems. Consider a fire. If you throw water on it, it will extinguish, leaving behind smoke. Exactly same thing happens when we drink too much water after a meal. Gas and bloating. Relatable? Ayurveda equates drinking water after meals to poison, which can cause huge gain in weight. Simply rinsing the mouth is an effective way to reduce the urge to drink water. Well, a sip or two is still okay, but from next time, try to wait for at least 30 minutes before you drink water after a meal. At number 7 is having fruits after a meal. We love eating sweets after a meal, but when we get health conscious, we prefer fruits after a meal. But doing this, you are actually messing up with your digestive system. Let's say you eat a full meal and then end up having fruits. Now grains take around 4 hours to get digested, while fruits get digested much faster, within an hour or so. The piece of fruit which was ready to go straight through the stomach into the intestine is now prevented by the chapati which was taken just before. It's like a bus which doesn't allow a bike to overtake. As a result, fruits fail to reach intestines and starts fermenting in the stomach itself. This is the reason you might have heard people complaining, "Oh, I feel gassy after eating fruits. I feel like running to the toilet after I eat fruits." All such problems will vanish once you make a habit to eat fruits before the meals and not after. Mango, however, is an exception. Next, lying down after a meal. Do you often feel like lying down after a meal? Or do you generally have your dinner late and then immediately go to bed? Just this one mistake can cause increase in belly fat and problems like acidity. First things first, if you feel sleepy after a meal, chances are that you are overeating. Dozing immediately after a meal causes insulin sensitivity and slowed metabolism. This not only causes gain in weight, but even increases the risk of diabetes and blood pressure. Moreover, it's a proven fact that our body is most comfortable digesting the food in an upright position. Lying down after eating is like tilting a glass full of water. Stomach acid can flow back into the food pipe, triggering symptoms of acid reflux. This can damage the food pipe and cause acidity and heartburn. So it's advisable to wait before lying down after eating. Best is to keep a gap of at least 2 hours between your dinner and sleep time. Next, drinking tea after a meal. Do you have this habit of enjoying a cup of tea after your meals? It gives a sudden kick that prevents drowsiness caused by the big meal, isn't it? However, this is a mistake that can make your body deficient in important nutrients. Tea has tannins which have the tendency to bind with iron, zinc, and calcium, interfering with their absorption. There are studies to back that if one regularly drinks tea after a meal, it increases the chances of iron deficiency many folds. And yes, the same is true for green tea as well. This is often why people who have this habit of drinking tea after a meal experience extreme fatigue, low hemoglobin level, pale skin, and weakness. So it is always best that you keep a gap of at least 1 hour between a meal and tea. A smart option can be to have a herbal tea, something like ginger tea, which will not only have a similar satisfying effect but will also support digestion. Next, exercise immediately after a meal. Do you often hit the gym, go for a jog, swim, or do any other strenuous exercise right after a meal? Well, you are asking for acidity and heaviness in the stomach. Exercising right after meals can disrupt your digestion process due to divergence of blood flow which was needed in the stomach rather than in muscles. The only exercise that is prescribed after a meal is Vajrasana, and that's because it pushes more blood towards the stomach, helping in digestion. When it comes to light exercise like walking, 15 minutes after a meal is advisable. Although for strenuous activities, one must wait for at least an hour. Next, smoking after a meal. Smokers may be tempted to have an after meal cigarette, but it's best they resist the urge. No doubt smoking is bad all the time, but scientific studies suggest that one cigarette after a meal is as dangerous as 10 cigarettes smoked together. Shocking, isn't it? When we smoke after a meal, the nicotine from the cigarette gets metabolized more due to more blood flow in the stomach. This simply means that the body will absorb nicotine from the cigarette much faster and in much more quantity than it would otherwise. Just one cigarette contains as many as 60 cancer-causing substances in it. Experts say that if you smoke right after a meal, you are increasing the risk of having IBS and stomach ulcers many folds. So it's best you quit smoking or at least never light a cigarette after a meal. Next, having sex after a meal. Masturbation or sexual intercourse is best avoided after eating a meal. During sexual activity, blood flow increases to genital area. Now, if your body is still processing a meal, this redirection of blood flow might not be ideal for proper digestion and can cause discomfort, bloating, or indigestion. So it's best that you wait for at least an hour after a meal before you indulge in sexual activity. While one should not have sex after a meal, it's beneficial to eat immediately after having a sexual intercourse. Finally, bathing after a meal. Do you have your breakfast first and then get ready for the day? Or do you, after coming back from office, first take your dinner and then go for a shower? If the answer to any of these is yes, then your digestive system isn't happy with you. When you eat a meal, there is a lot of blood flow towards the stomach and intestines to help with the digestion. But when you take bath immediately after eating, blood rushes to other body organs to maintain its core temperature. As a result, limited blood flow will be left for digestion. Now you had eaten a nutritious meal full of protein, complex carbs and healthy fats. But since it didn't get the optimal environment for its digestion, it sits within the stomach producing toxins. So always take a shower before the meals and never after. If you want to take shower after a meal, at least wait for an hour. To sum up, there are 8 things that one should avoid immediately after eating. Drinking water, having fruits, drinking tea, bathing, lying down, smoking, sex, and exercise. Smoking after a meal increases nicotine absorption by as high as 10 times. Always take bath before a meal. Keep a gap of at least 30 minutes after a meal before you drink water. If you often feel like lying down after a meal, chances are that you are overeating. Fruits are best eaten before a meal and not after. Tea immediately after a meal can make you anemic. Keep a gap of at least 1 hour. The only exercise that can be done after a meal is Vajrasana. If you want to walk, wait for 15 minutes. For other strenuous exercises, give a gap of at least 1 hour. Which one of these 8 mistakes was most relatable to you? Let me know in the comments. If this video was helpful, then do let me know by giving a thumbs up. If you are looking for a genuine face serum, Mamaearth's Flower of Youth Serum is a fine option in the Indian market. Turn the pack and you will find that it has no EDTAs, mineral oil, harsh alcohols, artificial color or fragrance. Infused with the extracts of daisy, hibiscus and lotus flowers, it is a safe chemical formulation. For best results, take 2 to 3 drops and apply gently on face. This face serum is suitable for men and women of all skin types. Still, a patch test is recommended. To buy Mamaearth's toxin-free Flowers of Youth Essence Serum, click on the link in the description box. Do not forget to apply the special discount coupon to get 21% off on your order. There are 5 foods that are proven to stop hair fall. To know them, check out this video. My name is Vivek. I thank you so much for watching.